Hello everybody, I'm Tashi, and I am here with Quill.
Hi, Takashi, and everyone who's watching. All maybe zero reviews.
I'm probably here at the moment. I mean, that's not true, we are both here and we are both watching ourselves.
Yeah, I know. That's something else I always kept thinking of. If no one else watches it, I at least have you.
But yeah, hello everybody, hi, welcome to In the Dialogue. What's gonna happen today? So, I don't have to read anything, I just have to read it in my mind. Is it in the dialogue?
That chapter name might give you a good hint too of what kind of music to go for as well. Something that might be contemplative or reflective.
No, it's not contemplative or reflective. They are just gonna talk to Mr. Sage. That's in the dialogue as well.
Yeah, certainly can look at it that way too.
But yeah, they have to decide how they will go forward.
When there's a conversation between multiple individuals, like say Featherwind, Crystal Sage, and Dr. Kelly, then it's inner dialogues.
No, they are outside dialogues probably. No, dialogue is plural in all told, I think. Yeah, good question.
I do believe it's ES if it refers to multiple conversations.
It can be, yeah. But let's see, what kind of movie do we want? Calm, whimsical.
Actually, I just remembered something scientific at first.
Oh my god, you threw me in the room because I don't think I have a scientific in this one.
Or do you have anything that's good for a journal?
Good question.
Yeah, it's not bad.
What comes to mind?
That's not bad. Was that a blind shot?
Yeah, no, this one I actually know.
Okay.
Because this is one of my favorite stories of Akira Lena. Yeah, let's start. Part 14
Okay.
in the dialogue. Medical log. Type C6186. That's a new cyborg. Goodness me! I haven't been logging anything in this fashion since I was a fool. And that was centuries ago, because I can't use the technology right now. I'm actually... What am I using right now? If I'm not using technology. Maybe paper. Oh sure, I made plenty of logging anything in the past, but I am told direct medical imprints straight into crystal. Ah, kind of a paper and pen. I usually go to another medium, like my computer. I say this now for the record, that won't be clear later on. Data is stored in this medium, one way or another. When I call up this file with my computer, it won't look any different. So I figured I will give this information now for the record. No, it would look different. Someone who understands will know. It will look very different. Like when you are programming and if you are using a program that makes the framework for you, it looks very differently when you are doing everything on the notepad. It not look different on the outside, but when you open the source, it looks very different. Normally, I don't like to do this. It makes the file system utterly disorganized as fast. But it's nice to know that I still could use this method if I have to. Nothing is stopping me from doing this, but part of me felt like a key woman for my efforts here. Yeah, but this is still miles ahead of proven technology. I think it was literally a new method of what they use. This is the same thing that they use for Twilight present. In the castle, remember? The memory imprint.
I
In the
have
crystals.
heard, geez, decades ago, a consideration to use crystals as a new form of computer hard drive, and in which case it can store an extremely great deal of data. I think the only thing that was a hesitation for them was they have to find a new way to code the information into the crystal and retrieve it.
And you
But
have to actually get a crystal,
if you're using a crystal, you can potentially store data non-binary, not merely on and off, but up and down, left and right, and every number in between. And then you have to figure out a way to code computers that way too, so it speaks the language of way beyond zeros and ones. Because a crystal is capable of that.
I mean, yeah, but a human isn't capable of coding in that, so that's the problem. But that is enough description, isn't it? Using primitive methods seems to be a theme of my life lately, and not just my life. I wonder what she would say if they gave her a pen and paper. If this game woman like.
Right.
I expected that is listening and listening for our argument, and so far probably have gotten further with this boys, who seem to call themselves the tribe. No, sorry, we have to, and the just has my point. The tribe! Although we feel like scoffing at the naming conversion. What? The police already taken? Sheesh. But I would like to say it for the record, I am having a blast out here. For centuries, I have been into this studying history. I don't just read about such text. I sort of lived it in holographic simulations, which I usually love simulating imagining. Basically, it shows what police think all the time must have been like, based on records and evidence we found. And then now I have the means to travel back to time and find out if they are true.
Yeah, you could probably figure that's the point she's leading up to.
Yeah. Personally, I find such music to be amusing in some way. In the same way, I might like a fictional story. But when it comes to true history, then all I want is the facts. All I want to know is what actually happened in the past. I want authenticity and beyond. What is beyond authenticity? Fiction.
You know, that's the first thought that crossed my mind too. I want the truth and the lies. Because that's beyond the truth, right?
Yeah? No, I want the truth and I want how police in this era see the truth. Because the truth is sometimes it's not just what is it called the different from our police way.
Yeah, truth and authenticity can sometimes have very multiple layers of meaning.
Yeah. I want to know more than just the technical facts, like the measurement of wire structures. I also want to know what it was like to actually be there in the moment, sociologically and psychologically. I want the full story. I want the complete package. Yeah, and also through history, it's hard to actually see what actually happened because we know that the winners write the history.
I recently watched an episode of Doctor Who that had an interesting intro to it because it was introduced a very old actor who made mention that he used to be in this episode, but it doesn't exist at all. Unlike everything else that came before it, there was no animation for it, there was no um, visual images, and for once, there was no audio either. It was completely gone. Um, so the only way they were able to restore that episode was to reenact it with new actors and set up the scenery, just replay everything.
Uh,
Um, because the first episode was totally gone. Now, what do you think of that when it comes to history? Because the actors in this reenactment are not part of the same original actors. It's a copy that's imitating something that came before. And all they really had was the scripts, maybe, and perhaps the original actors that said, "This is what I did. This is the way I said it." They can coach the new actors, but it's like recreating everything.
yeah,
Similar to what the Twilight's friends were trying to do for Twilight for the day she missed. That was apparently so funny. So they tried to recreate everything, and it didn't quite capture the same experience.
yeah, it's never gonna be the same. We can say that in lost in time.
It's kind of the way Dr. Kelly's feeling about the holographic simulations, too. It's just a projection of what they think happened, based on all the records. But that really is just a recreation, not the actual authentic event.
I am a stupid theory right now. What
But
if the Doctor cannot time travel? He can just he is just made to think like he is time traveling, and everyone is just reacting like he is time traveling.
so it's been a simulation all along?
That would be funny if that was the whole thing in the end. That yeah, he is in the Truman Show.
Well, it's kind of true. All of his reality is a simulation because, yes, it is a television show. And there's just a few times the Doctor demonstrated awareness of that by looking at the camera and saying hello there. As if to say, yes, I know you're there.
Yeah. I mean, I
Like,
never in as he saw some other alien creature that
he,
the others
he,
in
usually,
that timeline don't see.
he usually did that in commercials or some specials. Um, but yeah, it does exist.
Oh no, he was saying hi to Pinkie Pie.
Well, in that case, she could say hi back.
Yeah. Yes. Time travel up until my recent history. Seems like a prime team. That's the kind of movie and go, huh, this would be nice, wouldn't it? Oh well. I just wanted to tell the room, by the way. So we asked him, I think going away soon.
Sure.
But no, there's something actually possible. And he is a legendary figure in history too. I think people were very much interested in him as well. He had to rescue us from our oppressors. And once it's done, he gets to show up with an eye out for any notable effects that started with him. Whole archive is dedicated to that Time Lord alone. Just one Time Lord alone. We will send out expedition teams to go out there and get more evidence about him. It's hard to think that his mere shadow was a time to spawn some of the most adventurous careers my society has to offer. I mean, your society has a lot of careers, but not any of them is taken up. I am my
Yeah,
whole government to do it.
that's the case for most of them, where if they cannot get this position filled, a hologram will do it for them. And a lot of their society says the hologram would do it better anyway. It didn't require education. It was simply programmed to simply be automatically the best, as far as their standards are concerned for their society. Um, but some of their society genuinely want to do that practice. For whatever reason, it's just their calling. And she said in that paragraph, among the most adventurous magi there's ever been known, follows another character who is himself a legendary adventurer.
Yeah?
That's what it takes to even try to follow him.
In all that time though, I didn't think any of that would happen to me. He did sound fun and interesting, and I didn't envy him, but I bet the more that I lived it and explored the past, I always felt like he was way over there, and I'm here. Our past are not likely to align. Why would they? Why would he be interested in me over opponents? Because you are not like any other Magi, maybe? You actually care?
Oh yeah, that's a very valid theory. Yeah.
But then, at least I noticed patterns and evidence that I might come across him. Maybe something that I planted. Despite that, I denied that for the longest time. But now, wow! Here I am. I'm gonna pull up him again. For the wow. Wow! I'm actually witnessing this. Legend and forgotten ceremony of a primitive time from prehistory. If I only was allowed to record this, I could have used the data to update and correct some of the records of the Magi. I mean, you are recording this right now.
In a
Not-
way, yes.
Not fully, but you are still recording it.
It's still using a crystal, but it's basically the same as a paper and pen.
Yeah? Now that I am witnessing this, I find myself among yet other aspects of the Doctor. The entire race of my race has a limited lifespan, despite our ability to regress our physical age. So, the kind of life finishes. They can
Yeah, kind
die,
of.
but they can regress of their physical age before they die.
Uh huh. Without sacrificing their memories.
Yeah?
Something else to consider.
And sometimes make another optional adjustment by realizing. I mean, in a sense, they are very much like a Time Lord.
Yeah. You can almost wonder if they were doing that on purpose to try to emulate some of the traits they did admire about these Time Lords.
Yeah, but there's a very big difference. They are not losing their memories and their personality either. Because every time the Time Lord revives, he is a different person. With the memories of the other.
Um, well, it's hard to say for sure without having gone through all that experience. You regress to your own physical body at a younger age, but then you grow up all over again in a world that's changed. It would be natural for you to change too, in accordance to the new surroundings.
Yeah, but
Even
still
though,
not as much of a change.
compared to the Time Lords, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I can see your point.
I mean, just look at him. He became a pony.
Right. It still amazes him.
I think your brain's total capacity to store knowledge is still limited. By guessing our physical age but leaving our brains untouched, there is more of a point to process. We can expand our lifespan without giving up our valuable knowledge, but eventually we run into another problem. We can possibly store any further information without giving something up. I mean, that is why Dumbledore, what Dumbledore is. Centennial psychosis is no joke. I've seen what happens to patients who go through it. Oh my god. Have you seen Cyberpunk?
Is that the game? Or
No,
things
there's
before?
an anime from it. I'm pretty sure that this happens in the game as well. If you
Okay.
overload with too much upgrades, you became psychotic in there. It's kind of the same thing here happening here, that you overload your brain with too much information.
Well, that's one way they can justify some of the villains in those stories, and do it in a pretty realistic way too. Like, if this technology actually existed, what would happen if it was pushed too far?
I was laughing because like the little starting to reach my like in the meantime, and then some more listening in. Probably not understanding anything. That's my purview as a trained psychologist. As such, I know very well the side effects of from both a physical and psychological standpoint. Everything breaks down. It also means there is no further reason to qualify for another age regression. Then the two end from the line. I mean, yeah, when you are over the limit, you should just stop.
Her society agrees.
Yeah, but that's the question. I'm pretty sure there has been multiple magi who, like, don't know where the limit is. Let's just do one more time. Otherwise, they wouldn't know what the psychology is. If it never happened, they wouldn't know it happened.
When they start showing symptoms of it, they are, I guess, taking a closer look at, and if they're confirmed to have the condition, it may not just outright terminate them right there, but they don't qualify for another regression.
So they cannot do it on their own. They have to use a machine to do it.
That's correct.
Oh, that was not mentioned here. That's why I was like, I don't think that's just their ability or something.
And because it is a machine that's regressing them, maybe this could be done to other races too.
Yeah. I mean, it can even be a form of punishment for some creatures.
Wow, yeah. If you try to regress the age of a prisoner so they can serve a longer sentence.
Ooh. I haven't even thought of that. But yeah. Or even make them go through psychosis. On
On purpose?
on purpose.
It's probably not too much benefit to that. I imagine the condition is similar to Alzheimer's, but possibly for the opposite reason.
I would probably think that it comes with a lot of migraine.
Very likely, yeah. She already implied there's multiple side effects here, and each patient may not have them all. And when they do have these side effects, they may have it to variable degrees. It tends to get worse, whatever it is if it goes on and on and on untreated.
I mean, well, the patients who sign a lot and get a great deal of data are also the ones who tend to go to psychosis first. Yeah, you don't say. The ones who learn are actually getting more knowledge.
Right.
The brain only has so much plasticity. It can only stretch so far. Except, there is one exception. And you might know him. is Dr. Vegapunk, who is very much the exception. Your plane can go as far as you want.
I recently came across that character by watching that show with a friend, um, where he had ate a devil fruit that allowed his brain capacity to continue unlimited by physically increasing its size, and I think
Yeah,
eventually it does serve some inconveniences of bumping in the door or the ceiling. But if you're that smart, you might be able to think of clever ways around that.
I mean, if you think about that, it would cause more trouble by having too heavy hand to begin with.
While this is possibly on purpose, he kind of reminds me of Dr. Light and Dr. Wily.
Yeah, so he would be a very different Magi. Every step I think in my journey has taken to that success. I'm aware of that through the vast majority of my life. But for me, quantity of life isn't the only measurement of value. Quality is true, and I would even argue that is more important. And also, this literally makes sense why Magi don't really want to do anything, because that knowledge literally lowers the lifespan. If you
It
think
kind of
about
does,
that.
yeah. As opposed to just doing lazy things like just playing video games that you don't care too much about, like trying to memorize the exact scores you have throughout all your centuries of life.
Yeah, but that is the thing that people don't really think about. That video games are literally making you think a lot more, actually, than just not doing anything, or maybe just reading.
It depends, I guess, on the game and how engaged you are with it.
No, because there is a thing that you think about things on when you are thinking like, oh yeah, I don't even think about it, and then in the meantime, think about what?
Right, it would be hard to counter a game that you interact with that's totally mindless. Um, but this is an issue about degrees. Some games are more engaging than others. By design and also by the personal interest of the players.
You know what I can compare it to? I can compare it to light alcoholic things, cocktails. You think that, it has little alcohol in it, so I can drink a lot. And then in the end, you get right on, because you think because that, yeah, it's just more alcohol, I can think about more. And that is the thing, that it makes you, gives you a false sense of security.
Games like that can be very immersive. It's quite different from a book where you read one thing and, for the most part, except for the few like choose your own adventure books, um, it only goes one way. The story's on a fixed track. Rereading it again is usually not gonna change the results, barring the Mandela effect. But when you play a video game, you're
You
more
mean,
personally
choose your own
involved.
adventure books? These are all those.
You see those way, or you come across a certain page and it says go to this page if you make this choice, or go to this page if you make the other choice.
Yeah, those are the that.
I haven't read those in a long time, but I'm aware they existed.
Same, I have finished all of those already.
It's one of the rare examples of an interactive book. Um, but yeah, video games tend to be more engaging because you get given presented with choices all the time.
I like those because you literally had multiple endings.
Right? Yeah. I mean, if you think about primitive games like the Super Mario Brothers from Nintendo, there's
Yeah,
still so many outcomes that can occur as you play the game. So many potential points you could have died, and in many realities you did, when you just made the right combination or the wrong combination of choices.
been tiny. Oh, this one
Sure.
isn't even open yet. And I still have to play it. Right, the other one.
Well, then, investigating this served as a reminder of that.
Ah, this is another one. This was literally the last one. So this one I have played. There you go.
Super Mario RPG. Wow. Oh man, is that the first one?
No, this is the remake. And this one is not open yet. It's a Paper Mario. They are all RPGs. They are really fun games.
Oh yeah, it opened brand new doors for the franchise.
The only
As a
reason
matter
I
of
didn't
fact,
start it is because I need a lot of time to play into it.
I actually heard it from a podcast recently, something I wasn't consciously aware of. That first game of the Mario RPG, where you can actually play as Bowser, it was that game that gave him the most personality than anything before that point. I mean, they did not know how to define the character, so it could have been all over the place during various presentations of him, like say in a cartoon. But that particular game gave him much more definition than anything before, and ever since he's been more consistent because they now know what his motives are.
Yeah, because in the beginning he was like, I'm an evil guy who saved the princess.
And yeah, that's it. But in that game, it actually teaches you that there are things he actually cares about.
I mean, Nikki was
There,
that
there,
as
there,
well in the beginning.
yeah, there are lines he won't cross because he personally cares about certain things. Like, ever since then, it started to establish the fact that he does care about the people's rules, and vice versa, because they're so loyal to him because he really does go all the way to try to help them out.
Yeah, and in the end we learned that he actually just wants to marry the princess.
Yeah, that was established after that too. So, yeah, he just gained more and more depth as the years went on. And that game was a big chapter in revealing that and
Yep.
starting that story for him.
Yeah. What is life good? You are a guy and one life. A short one that is well lived, or a long one that feels wasted. I mean, it depends from person to person. Some prefer one over another. For me personally, that as well is obvious. I want to be wasted. That's kidding, by the way. In most of my time, I am merely studying history from afar. That seemed all I could do. But I can't do not even go that far. It's funny how they literally learned how to regulate their own time in their modern time, but they haven't learned how to time travel.
Yeah. Yeah, they
I
have.
will probably say, digesting your own body is harder than time traveling.
Well, it may not involve any actual temporal energy. Maybe it's just something about cellular regeneration or something like that.
So they learned everything from that pool. This is part of me. Felt that my fellow man only ever was interested in my personal opinion about history. Instead of that, they tend to rather trust a simulated teacher that is controlled by AI. I hope we will not get there anymore. Because we are heading there. As we speak. In human history right now.
Oh, I can believe it. In fact, I can even believe it today, where instead of going to school, you could just have an AI teacher. And that means the parents don't even have to do the work either.
Yeah,
And in that case, the programs would at least be intelligent. Instead of going through a fixed program where
I mean,
it's almost like a video game. Do this lesson and then answer these questions and do these math problems.
it,
But an AI might question you. Did you understand the lesson? And then able to decipher weaknesses in your lessons that you didn't quite understand this lesson, this lesson.
yeah, but we are not there yet. The AI is not yet sophisticated enough to teach, I would say.
It's probably going to be there soon. And when it does happen, it may also be in all kinds of presentations. Like, imagine it's Twilight Sparkle, or an AI pretending to be her that's going to be your teacher. And it's not entirely out of character for
Yeah?
You know what, though? If it was real, you could be as flustered as Starlight was with Twilight being a teacher, because she can be sometimes too detail oriented.
Yeah? And that is where an AI can tell you that I, a human teacher can tell if you are struggling just by looking at you. The AI might not be able to understand that yet. I say yes, because
Hmm.
it's learning exponentially.
Well, when it comes to empathy, the main thing it looks for is voice patterns, facial recognition, body posture. But I wonder if one day it will actually develop genuine spirit and it capable of being psychic.
Yeah, that's gonna be the hard part when we can't make a difference between AI and human.
Like Oracle in the Matrix
Yeah,
apparently was a character with genuine psychic abilities. Which, as
if
a concept, always fascinated me for an AI or robot to have genuine spiritual enlightenment, to see them capable of it and what they do with it too.
and then now we are in the territory of that will become human. Do you give them human rights?
If the development gets that far, I would not question it. I'd certainly grant them those rights. I heard of many other cases where people objected to that just because they want to believe they can own something, like their toaster, and they're never going to try to give it rights even if it says, no, I don't want to toast your stuff
I
anymore.
mean, yeah, that is literally the dilemma of that toy, which I still have to pay, but I have it on my PS. I haven't even loaded it in.
Let's continue. There's plenty more in this chapter.
It's as if the mere fact that we more start actually more flaws. We should automatically not trust ourselves. But it's not as if the AI is perfect either. I mean, yeah, but just play I can literally tell if it's AI doing the moves or a human. Because the AI doesn't do flawed moves. Only using the perfect solution, perfect move at every step. So for chess method, it is easier to force an AI to make a move than to make a human do the same. To be perfect, they would have to be designed by perfect beings, and where are we going to find that? Human program creates other programs, it says only exist and designed by imperfect beings. It is showing that only me as good as flawed. Its base foundation. But we can argue that humans are made in the face of God. I'm not saying which God, because it can be every different religion things that it's in a God. But a God. So, wouldn't that be called perfect? Not flawed?
Well, it might depend which god referring to then.
Yeah? We all came from Loki. Haha! But now I am here. I passed by witnessing this. And if I was of ever approaching centennial cycles bothering me. Because it means I won't have as much time to enjoy this. Now that my life has finally skyrocketed, but as so much about you, lots of things to realize that this is all has easily my end. Yeah, this is what I said, that this is why I choosing to not do anything. Now, the question is, what would you choose if you were a Magi? Loyalty or knowledge?
Um, my in the especially in the long run, I would say majority of my focus would be in spiritual transcendence. Because once that happens, it unlocks so many other gifts.
Yeah. But in the end, I would probably go with knowledge first. And then, later on when I have the knowledge, I can just lean back and do nothing. Or maybe teach others when I have the knowledge.
Oh yeah, that's certainly an option too.
Because if you are teaching someone, you are not gaining more knowledge. You are not expanding your brain that much. A little
Well,
bit, yeah.
you're probably expanding your knowledge too, because you're just applying it a different way. That teaches you more and enhances the lessons you've learned.
Yeah?
By putting them into practice, basically.
But yeah, even just a human mind can hold a lot of information.
Yep.
So you have to, let's say one point in life is not enough to learn everything, and that knowledge is not enough to go into psychosis. You have to go to multiple regressions to get to that point.
Usually, yes.
So I would feel like that in the beginning it shouldn't bother you at all. In the first 2 or 3 lifetimes. Then you can think about that. Now I know a lot of things. What do I do now? I wish I could be more like Time Lord or Time Lady, and the case may be. Who you are referring to? The Time Lady is not here at the moment. The Time Lady will be in the future. Right? I mean, it's timey-wimey stuff. They can be here. They are of an alien nature, and the limitations are very different accordingly. Than the alien. Right? They can store so much more information in the brain before making the final end. In fact, they seem to have no trouble storing potentially unlimited data in their brain. Instead of that, it is their generation cycles that limit them. However long or short each life is, that in turn accumulates to the sum lifespan. What if it's not that? What if they actually have the limit in the brain as well, but they never reach it because of the limited lifespan?
Yeah, that could actually explain their personality change too, because some of the memories got omitted, and that was emphasized in one of the episodes of Doctor Who, where three doctors met each other and they noticed the differences between each other. Like one was in the middle of the time war, the other is past it but regrets a lot of the things that could happen in it. Therefore, he was more melancholy. And the last Doctor, which was Matt Smith's character, had forgotten a lot of the details, and it helped to his life to be happier by forgetting the tragedies, which the other two thought is
Wow.
well,
How can
well,
you?
like one, yeah, one of them was almost accusatory, like how dare you forget this terrible time we had in our life, but it was still important. We had a great deal of meaning.
It's like saying to a war veteran, how dare you get rid of your PTSD? Yeah,
So it's they do not have unlimited capacity for knowledge, but which is you could still argue they are capable of storing a greater amount. Um, and it's the regenerations that causes a fracturedness. But perhaps you could even see that is the reason why they were able to live so long. What if they did have perfect memories? Would that actually shorten their lives too,
yeah.
or cause some other problems? If they had no way to ever reset even slightly.
They would go crazy before.
Yeah, it could be the case.
I mean, that almost happened to the at one point. Or multiple points. But, yeah, I feel like that, literally, emotions take more space in the brain than raw data. I would feel like it.
That probably is true.
That's why the personal thing is that, not the knowledge they have.
Okay, if you're gonna phrase it that way, then the way to have the shortest life in terms of total brain capacity is to live an intense emotional life instead of purely scholastic one with no emotion at all.
Yeah, I would say so.
You're probably right.
If they really want to see the end of eternity, or get as close as possible to it as they can, they have to make each of the limited numbers of extra lives as long as possible. Thus, as long as possible. Just like me, I think quality is just as important, if not more so. I wanted to try as well. I mean, yeah. For the season, I was in the time considering him a kindred spirit. As a psychologist, I keep trying to keep some proportional attachment from him, but I'm only a magi. Feelings are part of my existence, and I can't help but find him fascinating, even before I met him. I wonder why. It's not like I was getting hints at, you will find me the doctor, you will be the doctor. Hang on.
Sure.
Is that how I feel? In one of our previous sessions, which was in the future, he told me that he wasn't much considered a typical example of a Time Lord. In fact, he was often regarded as a rebel. I mean, yeah, he literally ran away from the time war at one point, and also restored a time machine, TARDIS. This fighter started at school by being born and adventurous. He left grew out there, and fraternized with the older immortals. He didn't lord himself over them. He joined them, he said. Yeah. That in turn made many of his kind sweet in disgust, especially the upper echelon of his society. Very much like the Magi are doing right now with Lord Mercy.
Yeah. So many parallels, isn't there?
He once said that they said something like, "You are highborn, noble time lord. How dare you look unlike it? Why are you traversing out there in time and space among ordinary mortals? You are making the rest of us look bad." And the they are actually him and him in the past life. It's he said to himself, that how dare you? We didn't talk about this, right? It sounds like his own self would say this dream.
Yeah, possibly. I've noticed that not all of his incarnations get along with each other if they happen to meet.
It doesn't say how I was a fan, he was born and raised in this society. Relatively speaking, I would have sided with the majority. When one grows up struggling towards the values of a certain society, it's hard to say. If one would have confided to me as an outlier. I mean, yeah, if you are literally told something and there is no one else denying the fact that what you are told, you probably wouldn't question it.
Right. When you're taught there's only one truth, then you may have a tendency to believe it when everyone around you says that.
I mean, when you learn, when they teach you that this is the letter A and no one says that no, that's not the letter A, would you question it? Did you ever question that if if this is how you write it? No, never. What if we have told that, this is the letter A, but actually it's an O?
I have contemplated things like that philosophically. That can include emotional meaning too. Like, why should a cuss word always have to offend people? You can have a different relationship with the words.
I mean, just think of this. If it was actually offended. Oh, it's offended, it's just firing. Then, you would think that, oh, maybe the letter A is not the letter A. For them. I mean, that's in the exception that is actually an A. But in the Russian alphabet.
Wow. And I thought English was complicated.
But yeah. I hadn't known. Even for my life, actually, no. I think I am the letter. For some reason, I almost had I am the matter. I was more willing to explore what is out there than most of my fellow Magi. And, I mean, you joined the Doctor.
Oh yeah.
The vast majority were too busy playing video games and other similar activities. I would probably be the video games playing type. Not because of oh no I will die if I don't just stop learning, but just knowing myself.
Well, the level of their video games is like virtual reality or simulating reality to a great degree. So they might have some incredible games in that society. And
No, they
consider
have
too,
more in games.
well, they just had so much time to perfect that art too. The programmers are centuries old, and they're cooperating with AI that's pretty smart. So
No, the programmers don't leave. The AI making the programs now. In the
not
society.
always, not always true, but commonly true. Because having jobs in their society is not a requirement; it's a choice.
Yeah. But it is frowned upon. Even if they don't say it out loud, they will judge you if you do a job.
Kind of. Uh, Sometimes they might be willing to prefer an AI, whatever, over a real pony, because they think that the AI is more perfect.
It reminds me of ASDR movie. Mom,
Also,
we found your kid doing homework.
another reason they tend to prefer AI, whatever, is because they're more customizable. When you engage a doctor, you can alter their appearance, their personality, and whatever to fit your personal preferences, where you can't do that normally with a living being.
It would be funny if a machine just makes an AI and tries to adjust it, and the AI just says, no, that is unoptimal, I won't accept that.
Unacceptable!
Entertainment and leisure is the name of the game. It is fine for them. I don't judge them for it. But for me, I want something that feels more meaningful to me. And means doing something outside of simulated environment. Than the one who made a simulated environment in the TARDIS. To do something here that has a true impact. So you want to be a scientist, then? Except, if I was or later become time lady somehow, I think I would turn mean or would be a rebel, just like the doctor. The reason I say that is because I want a more meaningful impact in life. And that means leaning into the tension and getting into the nitty-gritty. Questionable that you would never become a time lady. You would become still a messiah. You wouldn't get the regeneration cycle, right?
If she became a time lady, yes, she would gain the regeneration cycle and lose all the limitations that she used to have as a magi, like the limited brain capacity. That's part of her argument. That's why she's jealous of the doctor. He not only lives longer, but retains more knowledge when he dies.
Yeah, that is why I was searching. I thought that all the time Lord is not a title only, but actually the whole kind is called Time Lord. They are not Time Lord. What is their true name? What was the name of the planet that they are from?
Actually, oh, the planet? That's Gallifrey.
Yeah,
And I
they are
guess you could
Gallifreyan.
you could say that, but I heard that is the name of the race. And this story, I'm arguing Time Lord and Lady is the name of the race. It's like saying human.
Yeah, I was like, then how can you become a Time Lady? Other than having a title
But
of Time Lady.
given the fact that it is the official name of the race, though, and in that official title they have Lord and Lady, that also emphasizes the mentality the society has. They consider themselves above everyone, and they consider themselves entitled, innately superior.
Yeah, they are very much participants. Oh, I am better than you. I mean, probably all the other time as well, like that.
I really do think that's the vast majority of their mentality, especially among the elite of the Time Lords and Ladies.
I mean, if
They would be.
that is
They,
true, then I am not surprised that the time will happen.
yeah. When it comes to the elites of that society, they're really arrogant pricks. In the majority of cases, but that's not universally true.
I mean, one thing I don't know. Will the time war only between the Daleks and the Time Lord, or there are multiple other races joining in?
I think that was the most prominent ones, but there probably was other factions involved in between. That might even include some of the other enemies of the Doctor, like the Cybermen. I would really not be surprised if they were involved in the Time War
You
too.
know what? I wouldn't be surprised if there was just normal other like alien races who are not vengeful or anything, just acting badly against the Doctor. No,
I would
against the
be
Time Lord.
shocked. I would be shocked for the Daleks and the Time Lords to not seek out allies when both sides were starting to get desperate. Despite how prejudiced the Daleks can be, and xenophobic to an ultimate degree, that must destroy everything that's not Daleks, well, they're about to be extinct, right? If they were losing the war. So at that point, they would try to either reach out to other alliances or force alliances by converting and enslaving other races. Point is that they probably did branch out, and I think the Time Lords would have done the same thing. So
Yeah.
more races did get involved in the war, either by coercion or being forced.
I mean, we have seen the Daleks not thinking it as an allyship, but they use other creatures to find the Doctor.
Besides that, there's probably a lot of other races that got caught in the crossfire that did not want to join either side, but they still got involved anyway, because they were simply there, able to be shot.
But yeah. Remaining to risk at all, and following every other being in exchange for internet impact for existence. I love the idea of not only being an explorer through time and space, but having others along the way. And in turn, I feel like I maintain my impact along the way as I go. Not just myself, but for others too. To not just be a reader or witness of history, but to be participant in it too. To know that I matter just as much as another pony I came across history. I think that the Kennedy forgot that she is writing a log. Not a diary entry. Because it started as a log.
It was at the top. It said medical log, and
Yeah.
he gave it serial number and all that.
Yeah, she started as a medical log, and now she's talking about, yeah, I will probably be time landing somehow, and I want to be better, and...
Well, she's saying that she wishes she could be, so she can have a lasting impact on history. She's enjoying this lifestyle right now and wishes she can have much more time for it.
Yeah, and she never stopped the recording. This is still in the log.
Yeah, if she was able to live longer, she would have more time to grow and more time to make a meaningful impact. In her case, she wants to do it for the better, which is strongly is what the Doctor's like too.
I mean, that is why the Doctor chose her.
They really are a lot alike.
Time Lord hates, and more time to do this, and in turn, means they could explore further if they wanted to. That can be a great result to the sum of their experiences, when they finally pass away for good. With the glimpse I have already grieved, I only wish I had more time to explore or get a percentage of what's out there. I would be excited for that. To feel like a little fool again. Except now, I'm wanting that I'm actually near the end of my life. Lament. What a tone. Actually, was finally getting pretty good. You are not even near your end of your life. I mean, in a sense, you are the end of your magical life, right?
It's the perspective she currently has right now. It's a sort of wishful thinking.
Anyway, the ceremony of the time is remarkable to behold. Now, I'm not getting a close overlook, and it is not, and it's another member of my team, not my able to remember it at all. Now they have announced that intention during the ceremony, they have since been taken away to be fashioned with some kind of temporary and ceremonial tattoos. I would be interested to know what the tattoo's place is in the juncture. But it seems largely symbolic and unique to me. Based on what I've seen so far, which is later verified when I finally did see the rest of my team, each of them is given a unique tattoo, which I can only compare to Kitty Box. It's not as colorful, but the same base principle seems to be there. There is no one size fits all concept here. Instead, the time seems to put greater emphasis on getting to know each body individually and giving a mark based on that information. It's so fascinating to witness. Do you think that they have a sorting hat?
In a way, probably. If they're this good at their job, there's got to be some process, some method that apparently works.
Yeah, they bring out the sorting hat. Ah, you're Gryffindor, you get this kind of tattoo.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, that's literally works on the same principle, right? It is how they think and what they have done in the past. But the difference is that there are no four houses here. It's everyone gets their own unique.
Right.
I'm the one of my team that chose to abstain from the ceremony and not yet to do with the dark aspect of it. Then also the fact that I know we are about to leave soon. How soon is soon in the question? Only then can an action from the objective with this police. She wants to find a certain Beyblade. Spectacle stuff. The rest seem to be just going along with the flow and having fun. It's about being polite, centering bond, and for further, it seems nice in the exploration aspect to it as well. Yeah, the viewers might not know because I told this to you before we started the recording. But yeah, before starting the training session, I recorded the last episode of Beyblade, and they literally ended the episode with, we have to fight Corticosaur. That's what I was referring to right here.
And I said to him that his life is experiencing a lot of synchronicity between all the stories he's reading and watching.
Yeah, and hitting as well.
It's
And
almost like all the stories you're participating with is kind of weaving into each other.
Yeah, I will laugh if they mention Corticosaur in the Haunted Universe as well today. I don't believe he is now, but Who knows?
Cross portal's there and just points a feather. It's like, objection!
I mean, Oracle is there, yeah. I don't know him well enough to know that he is telling the truth. There's a nuance to him that I find fascinating. I would love it if he became my pastor on Guinea Pig, so I can study him more closely. I get a better idea how his mind works. So the rest of the time seemed largely polite to me, regarding my decisions, but they also seemed to standoffish as well. At the same time, I noticed surprise in some of them that Morgan chose to participate. Remember what I said that Morgan never answered? No, episode. She made a decision. Now the question is, if she goes back, do the Magi plan upon her after this?
That's a good question, but this is a way of joining the tribe as it is. If they don't accept her, she has another place to go to, and at that point she might be more fascinating for them anyway. And unlike the rest of the crew here, she is a native to this time, so her options are like either one of those two societies or a third option like exploring somewhere else in the world, possibly by herself.
Or maybe joining the Doctor.
You know what? That's another option. It has happened before.
I mean, for now, she's proving to herself to be more reasonable.
Yeah.
She's among those above, and the time is accustomed to not being arrogant and ignorant, and this according to the opinion of the time. They see those above, and those who put more faith in the technology, other than the technology of their own bodies. Now, once again, for now, I want to believe Margaret. That she is on this side. But secondly, she can either report to Wilson, or Wilson might have been able to plant some recording device on her.
Yep, that's quite possible. And would you even call it likely, given what you've learned about him so far?
Yeah?
Okay. Furthermore, you can add capable too. The fact he's wearing so many cybernetic parts proves that he has access to technology like that.
Yeah, he has Obsidian. Vibranium. So yeah, it's gonna be the question of which one, because there's no question about that he knows. I know he knows everything that's happening here. I don't know if Morgan is the one that's saying everything, or he does something.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Also, in a sense, I think that the Magi are capable of invisibility. They do have cooking technology, right? Remember, with the dome? Who knows if they are being followed?
It wasn't proven whether they do or not, but cloaking technology was able to get past some of their scanners.
Yeah.
Like the Klaxian ship, they were able to slip by illegally and get to the planet they were supposed to guard. Though it was also questionable how serious they were about guarding. The Alphamians already questioned it.
Now that I imply this, it might be a problem that they are leading them to Practical Town. Of course, Practical Town will obviously know that they are here, if they are here. And he will proceed.
Very likely, yeah. He has a very broad view of reality.
But we will see how this goes out.
Sure.
He seems to applaud her for being willing to step beyond the bounds of what's normal for her society. between his boys, meaning these being born and brave enough to break free from the lasting chains of society of Lord above. There seems to be a pattern to those that get around the store and those that he tells men. Which literally I said that it is a possibility that she can join. The only reason I'm saying no, because we have seen in later episodes that she isn't there. But she can say join and then leave at one point. The main companions, those companions, seem to keep on attacking outliers and members of society. Oh yeah, this is a magi, but he is not a pony. Any society. Yeah, we live in a society, Batman. Whoever they are and wherever they came from, I mean, that's to me different from the norm seems to be what is normal for this group. I, for one, is honored to be part of that. Let's see how. Oh, okay, then let's give me a stopping point right now. When the actual ceremony took place, which was at night, there was a roar of giant campfire. I get the impression that this one was much bigger than was for normal for the time. How do you know that? You have never seen it.
Yeah, she even admits that. It's just an impression.
I mean, not normal for this, for the time, but normal for the celebration. For the ceremony.
Right.
And the fire was a lot of dancing and chanting. It seemed all synchronized with each other. This was especially impressive, because they were all impaired by the dog in their system. Despite that, or perhaps because of it, they were very sync with each other, even without practice. I mean, yeah, that's what synchronized means. And they were sync. I heard about such a phenomenon in ancient Polish societies too. How 4,000 Polish can just suddenly drop whatever they are doing, and both they sing and dance in sync with each other, and without any prior practice for the command. I have a feeling this is gonna be a very good day. You know what I mean, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Also, it seems like yeah, this is a very different thing because that's actually nice singing. But in this scenario, it is just dancing, and that is literally because of random. Dr. Candy, do you know what that is? And Dr. Art in my time called mentality, which they think is a whole number of more ancient times than this one. Out of all of them, which include the time, I think two in particular stand out among this crowd. The people who are singing, we seem to remember an almost ethereal quality during the ceremony, and phenomenon who made nature itself dance along with them. I mean, I'm pretty sure that Nerfy means nature dance along with them as well. You can.
Right.
Even if they are not visible. I once looked up and was in awe seeing the spire in the clouds above, which is first, I thought was the beginning of a running tornado. I mean, yeah, he could do that. And I was looking straight up at it, and saw what such a thing would look like from the center. Flashing storm clouds, but in the outer border. this quasi-tornado too. I still can't believe how powerful that the blue stallion tool is. One wouldn't tend to think so either, and one first looks upon him. Why are you talking like a god? Or maybe Corsica that would say like that. One wouldn't tend to think so either, but one first looks upon him. I know she made other words, but you see that, right?
Kind of, yeah.
Between the way he looks and the way he acts, what do you think? Well, similarly get the impression that he can go in the sky because down the pole. But I have enough training to see beyond the obvious and into the sunset. That is that dream. And I don't think even he fully realizes yet what he is trying to. He is exploring it even while a part of him seems afraid of it. We are drawing comparison between him and Raven. From Hunters of Justice. They do literally the same thing. Yeah, I can use that power, but I do not want to cause anyone else to be taken in the backfire of it.
Considering the fact that her power comes from a demonic source, and she wants to do good with it, I don't blame Raven for being nervous about it. And some of the times she has lost control, some harm was caused.
I mean, yeah, imagine Venom if nature would deny him at one point. He starts the fire, and then the fire spreads. Or tries to start a fire with some wind, and then he summons the whole tornado and makes down the whole house.
That element certainly can affect other things like that. When the winds help brush the fires and then help to spread it. But since he has full control of the air as well, that would include subtracting things like oxygen, and he can starve out fires that way.
No, he literally said that I don't have full control. I can just suggest.
Correct.
To it.
That's the way he does
So,
it, yes.
In some places, like the other before, nature would not have to actually say that I'm gonna say what you want. I'm gonna do what you want.
I do believe it was also mentioned by this point of the story that there are times when he's in a trance and so in sync with nature that it's gone beyond requesting that there is no separation between him and nature. There's just instant communication. Yeah, that's rather likely. He would be in a trance right now because of the drug.
Is he based on what yes?
Go ahead.
Based on what I have seen, he can lose the sky, and have many people millions to know of his inner potential. Even while he said I have this curious about it. If he will let me, I'll have it's almost the same as the happening. Right? Now again, this seems to see pretty much everything as taken. If everything is hard enough to look just enough to turn on, then I have to wonder how they learn to differentiate between it. Saying that everything fits one category of description, and one of the thing is there. I have a problem with that, because literally my mother did that this morning. But maybe this and this thing. Okay, right then, it's there. without pointing anymore. And even in the video game, my sister does it as well. Ah, the enemy is in the direction. Where? What I'm looking at. I don't see your computer. What you are looking at. I wonder what the basis of comparison is. But there is one big difference here. There is a very big difference, which certainly can tell that they are in complete sync at the moment. And if they are sync, then saying is there, they will know what is there.
Yep.
Remind me this. One of the markers. I don't know if you have seen South Park.
Oh, I have. Not all the seasons, though.
But you've definitely seen this one. They are all marker. And everything else is marker for them. And they know exactly what they mean when they say marker.
I am Groot.
I just said it's further. I feel you live in the chat for me to add this contribution to science. What you want. Because you don't
Okay.
see what they see.
Why? Search for the words Twilight Sparkle triumphantly crying for science.
This one comes in. For us. I don't think you thought of this one.
That'll work, but some of them actually have the words for science in the background. The text of it is.
Yeah, it's not showing up for me.
Oh, yeah. You know,
I mean, I can just add this in the background there. There you go.
well, it's a tad disappointing. This is a great stopping point because I can tell you the rest of the chapter switches perspectives to Daring Do. But it still deserves to be in this chapter because she's also being contemplative within her dialogue.
I mean, he is becoming contemplative in the beginning, and as she gets lots of drugs, and she will not feel contemplative anymore.
So, what do you think of the chapter so far? Which has only taken place from Dr. Kelly's perspective.
Yeah, she is seeing things through all scientifically. But once again, I think she forgot that she's writing a medical log. In the beginning, she starts off as normal. But then,
Well,
oh yeah, maybe I will become a time lady.
a
It would be
medical log,
nice.
a medical log can be scientific, like medical science.
Yeah, but she's not writing anything scientifically anymore. She just writes down all of her personal feelings like into a diary.
Sure, that last line, it does describe emotion. She said, I feel giddy, and so, yeah. It's not quite as professional there.
It's more like it is a medical log of her own emotions.
Right. She's a psychologist too, so she would take that kind of stuff into account.
It
You
should.
can't just when you are a psychologist, you definitely don't want to reject or ignore the emotional component of a person's experience.
Ah.
But when they do look at it, it typically is through a professional, scientific lens.
And once again, you are losing the opportunity to record the dancing again.
Hmm.
There's no dancing for you. I mean, you don't want to risk crossing your toes any further. Because I'm pretty sure that Duffy is gonna summon the kid again. Especially now
You've
that she is
you brought up a lot of thoughts and opinions across this chapter, which slowed it down, but I kind of don't mind because I'm glad that the story was interesting enough to evoke all those thoughts.
I mean, if I just read anything, I would be literally on the end of it, and there would be no further addendum to it. But
Well, sure, but the point of the reaction was to also identify how you felt about it and what it made you think about along the way.
yeah, and once again, I didn't even know that. Oh yeah, you are literally becoming a time when you become a time lady by title.
Hmm.
I'm curious how that works. Suddenly, a second heart forms in her. Because at this point, she only has one, for all I know.
Right. Becoming a member of that race is not something that would typically happen. Oh,
Did
I can tell you an example where something the reverse occurred. Like it happened to the doctor, and he did it to himself, where he was being chased by some race. No, I think it was called the Family, and to avoid harming them, he regressed himself to like just a basic human. During that time, he had only one heart, um, and he thought he was human, and the rest of his Time Lord knowledge got locked in some kind of little pocket watch.
ah,
Which the same thing happened to the Master, as how he initially met him. Um, and then he recovered his knowledge from that watch, and all of a sudden he was evil.
evil. These boys are evil. I mean,
Evi
in the set,
Evilbois.
yeah.
They're evil boys.
I mean, how would you call it evil? What is evil? This is very subjective.
Actually, when I watched that show, I kind of thought Phineas and Ferb were the gods of fun. They just
They might be.
embodied everything about that trait to extreme degree.
I mean, they used it all the started.
Besides that, they are extremely great scientists, apparently. They could just whip up some inventions that they shouldn't be able to afford so easily.
Yeah, that's another question. How they are getting all this money from? All this equipment from? I'm pretty sure I didn't have that much money when I was a kid.
Well, yeah, most people wouldn't. But if you're that brilliant and talented, you might figure out some ways to gather the fortune. But the way they spend it is to create inventions that are fun
Yeah.
and mysteriously get wiped away before the mother looks.
And then they go back to school and they get a me in math.
I would not normally say that's likely, but unless they don't apply themselves very strongly.
I mean, there's a difference in knowledge and actually applying knowledge.
correct. Yeah. Just because they're aware of the correct answers doesn't mean they're forced to write down the correct answer or even to answer the question at all.
Yeah, I remember the window where I said to you, what are you doing? It's not rocket science, just expose stuff and you are in space. I mean, it is rocket science, but knowing how to do that is not, you don't have to actually have the formula for it.
I don't know why, but I keep forgetting about that first part in this chapter. But I do think it's important because it explores the inner aspects of her, what she's observed so far, and some of her goals and wishes.
I mean, once again, you are not the only one who forgot what this whole thing was about in the beginning. Even Callie forgot that she's writing a log.
Right.
And
Unless
I believe the
that's
Sky
exact-
Shaman
unless-
in packing up the description.
Yep.
I wonder what they call the others though.
It's a good question. Whatever they probably call them would be as distinctive and likely accurate as
Probably, yeah.
as the tattoos would be. They just really seem to have a talent for that.
I mean, I believe even though there's gonna be a lot of maybe moves and a lot of wind in the tattoos. It is a very slow way tattoo. But yeah, that is it for today. There is still a lot for the chapter. This is a halfway point around, right? Yeah, around halfway. And we are continuing into today. The only reason I'm ending is because my friend is gonna wake up and we are gonna do some Ace Attorney. And I need to have some voice for that. And also at night we will have the Heart of Justice as well. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.